Have you ever prayed but never got an answer, and wondered if God was really there? Did you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone? There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. Will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer too small, and even when we fall, He gives us just exactly what we need. There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. He always knows what's right. God hears them all. There is no prayer too small. My God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. No prayer too small. God hears them all.
Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something, and let me be crystal clear. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of this coffin. You tried lifting the lid, but the enormous weight upon the lid prevents you from opening the lid. You try banging on the lid, hoping that you'll unsettle the dirt. Maybe somebody might notice and start digging their way down towards you. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know where to turn. In reality, there are people probably standing right by your grave. You just don't know that. You just think you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might overdose and take something away that God had given you called life? And if that's not selfish enough, more selfishly is to take your life away from the people that love and count on you most. Your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, your children, even your grandchildren. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person that I'm talking about that went to their grave and didn't even look for help, didn't even seek help, was selfish enough not to seek the help. Instead, be responsible. Call me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise you I'll help you take your life back before your life is gone. Folks, take your slippers off at night, stick them under your bed, not by the edge of your bed, stick them under your bed. In the morning when you wake up, drop to your knees to retrieve those slippers. There they are, halfway under your bed. While you're on your knees, utilize the thing I call knee-mail, K-N-E-E-mail. Knee-mail is a personal conversation between you and God each and every morning. Each and every night, stick those slippers under the bed. Each and every morning, go and retrieve the slippers and have that conversation with God. That's the time you want to thank God for having good health, home, having a house, a car, clothing, family. It's the time you want to ask God for guidance and direction, forgiveness and mercy. Your personal conversation between your lips and God's ears should be done each and every day, and you'll see your life abundantly will become better. It takes time and dedication, but if you do it each and every day, and just don't forget to do it each and every day, just do it each and every day and talk from your heart, God will answer your prayers, because the power of prayer is more powerful than any president or any leader in the world. The power of prayer, knee-mail, K-N-E-E-mail. Utilize that time each and every morning and speak to God. Now put those slippers on and walk with God 24/7. Lend a hand, help, a heart. People who volunteer work may reap benefits beyond the satisfaction of helping others. Lend a hand. Doing volunteer work may give you a greater sense of purpose in life, a positive emotion that's been linked to lower risk of heart disease. That's how it helps. If you volunteer on a regular basis, perhaps you've experienced the emotional rewards of donating your time. What you might not realize, however, is that volunteering may offer some added advantages for your heart. There's a growing body of research showing that volunteering is associated with better physical and mental health outcomes, says Eric S. Kim, a research fellow at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. In a study he co-authored published in Social Science and Medicine earlier this year, volunteers were more likely to use preventive health care services. For instance, people who volunteered were 47% more likely to get cholesterol checks and 30% more likely to get flu shots than those who didn't volunteer. An annual flu shot appears to lower the risk of heart attack and stroke by about 1/3 over the following year. This positive associations persist even after controlling for factors that might skew the results, such as household wealth, education, baseline, personality factors, health habits, and according to Kim, it works. Measurable gains. The participants were part of a health and retirement study, a national representative study launched in 1992 that includes more than 7,100 adults over the age of 50. Earlier research from the same study found that people who volunteered on a regular basis, at least 200 hours a year, were less likely to develop high blood pressure over a one-year period than non-volunteers. Volunteers also had greater increases in psychological well-being and physical activity. You see? Another large ongoing study of volunteerism, Experience Corps has also documented physical and social and cognitive improvements in volunteers. Begun in 1995 and now operating in multiple cities across the U.S., Experience Corps pairs adults ages 50 or older with public school students who struggle with reading. While the tutoring improved classroom behavior and boosted the students' reading scores, the experience also helped the adults. A recent study in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found that female Experience Corps volunteers in Baltimore walked an average about 1,500 more steps per day than similar women in control group. Earlier studies have found that the Experience Corps volunteers tend to be less depressed, find it easier to do daily activities and tasks, have better brain functions as measured by brain imaging studies, and thinking skills. Why connection matters. Some of the benefits observed in the different studies may stem from volunteering less and less, because even volunteer work isn't very physically taxing, still requires people to get up and move more than they would if they just stayed at home. But the well-known advantages of greater social connectivity likely play a large role, says Kim. For example, when you're more connected to your community, it's easier to get information on things like how to find out the best deals on fresh vegetables and fruits, or where to get a free flu shot. People also provide one another with emotional support. There is a sense of purpose. Another intriguing potential benefit is that volunteering may give people a greater sense of purpose in life. There are 3 elements to a sense of purpose: a sense of meaning, a sense of direction, and a goal to strive for. Those are the 3, explains Kim. In recent years, research on health and longevity has expanded to focus more on 3 types of positive emotions. We know that stress, depression, and anger all have negative effects on the body, especially with regard to the risk of cardiovascular disease, says Kim. The opposite emotions and mindsets, satisfaction and optimism, are closely linked to, but not necessarily with, a sense of purpose, he adds. Yet a sense of purpose is associated with better heart health beyond the effects of optimism and positive outlook. In fact, a 2016 report in Psychosomatic Medicine that pooled findings from 10 different studies found that people with high sense of purpose in life had a lower risk of having a cardiovascular event and dying from any cause compared with people who had lower sense of purpose. You can explore a range of volunteer opportunities online. While people may lean toward working with large groups, introverts might prefer working with animals or doing tasks that don't involve working directly with the public or people. But try not to let shyness or anxieties prevent you from exploring a possibility. I've observed that when people are really involved, interested, engaged in the task at hand, their anxiety and other issues tend to melt away, says Kim. Find your niche. Volunteer resources. These organizations offer a range of possible ways to give back to your community. The Corporation for National Community Service is a federal agency that invests in a range of nonprofit local community organizations that mentor and tutor at-risk youth, rebuild communities struck by natural disasters, help seniors live independently, and support veterans and military families. Volunteer Match connects people with local volunteering opportunities that match their interests and expertise with such choices as helping animals, assisting immigrants and refugees, working with computers and technology, and numerous other things. Experience Corps recruits and trains older adults to tutor children from kindergarten through 3rd grade who are struggling to read. They work in lower income districts in 22 cities throughout the country. These are the things that you can do to help. When you have a sense of purpose, you cut down the heart attack risk. Have a purpose. Have a sense of volunteering. Get up every morning and say, I need to do something to help someone. And your life will start changing. And may God bless you.
but never got an answer, and wondered if God was really there. Did you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone? There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. I have read if you will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer too small, and even when we fall, He gives us just exactly what we need. There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always